Now, the comments from people were that this event had been a lot better today, and actually they felt there was a tipping point where, at the moment, to get a bit more participation and get people attending, some of the Intersect team probably do need to present some of those things around committees and other topics and things that are going on at the moment, until we start maybe building up a bit more of an audience from the community who are then willing to participate and present their own things, and which we can start ramping it back then. So I think there's that tipping point where we probably will have to present a certain amount of things monthly until we can ramp it back and move aside.
Me, I love the accountability and transparency of the committees having something to say without the dynamic where Intersect is the only ones who can say what the agenda will be.
Absolutely.
That distinction against the Catalyst town halls is palpable. Not being able to influence the agenda in any way, shape, or form totally sucks, in my opinion. Here we are on record again.
Can I jump in here?
Please do.
This is kind of echoing stuff that I'm dealing with in work at the moment. Is essentially you kind of these gatherings are kind of like they're like discovery workshops in actual fact, and the whole thing is we're actually meant to be promoting diversity of thought with the hope of achieving something. So there does need to be some guidance on an agenda. It might be what we're trying to solve, or for a context of that one, because everyone's going to bring a theme or experience level to a topic. So it would be nice to know, hey, this one I think I can add value to. I'm going to make sure I'll be at this one. If it's very general, not everyone might set the time. I mean, for me, it's 1 o'clock in the morning here. I'm not, I'm wanting to learn. I want to know how to be more involved. I care about where Intersect and what Cardano can do for the future. But I don't necessarily. This is just a side hustle hobby. It's not more than that. But I mean, I want to participate. So if you run it as such, where it's actually creating a safe space where people can share ideas and thoughts, and with the hope of maybe getting people to unpack the how, and then try and leave a meeting with maybe 1 or 2 action points that people can go and explore, and then that forms the basis of the start of the next discussion. Okay, cool. Well, on the last meeting, we thought about this, and I don't know, it might create some continuity. I get excited to come back for the next meeting, finish that conversation, or yeah, there's and there's different tools for that. I mean, there are actually literally practical tools that we could just literally take out of any business management book to run it, and get people involved, and communicating.
Right on. And we can take some positive lessons from what Catalyst town halls have done too, right? Like having there's a knowable agenda at the town hall, right? You know that you're going to get some kind of information about what's going on at Catalyst. You know you're going to get some projects that have closed out, and you're going to learn about some projects that have closed out, and you're going to have usually a second presentation from the Catalyst team or somebody that they feel is important. Then you're going to have your after town halls where everybody can, that's a little bit more open and you could have freedom. One of the other things that they did to Pantella's point, like he's here at 1 a.m. They did over time develop an Eastern town hall, a Pacific town hall, so that they have at least a few, hopefully maybe 3 we could probably work out to where people can join in, so that is in a time frame that's useful to them. I mean, obviously we're still building, so there's just opportunities for growth, and that's one of those opportunities for growth that we could really do. I think having a time set aside for committees to be able to present to the community and hear feedback from the community is huge. I'm so sorry I couldn't make it today. I felt so bad. I can't interrupt this call, but I need to get over there. And of course I missed it. So I'm sorry I didn't get to hear it today, but I'll be back next month and, for whatever we can for the budget committee for next month. And thanks, Lawrence was there to in my stead to take care of it. So that was really awesome. Again, that's the other great thing. Like, these committees are not just one person. So if I can't make it and Lawrence can, then one or another of us can actually stand up in that moment and help. So I think that not just copying Project Catalyst Town Halls, but taking good lessons from Project Catalyst Town Halls, making sure we can accommodate our friends who are not in these time zones. And then having that idea of being able to continue the conversation week after week or month after month rather, is super important.
If I can jump in on something super fast, is so I'm working to become a D rep, and basically my I'll say this: the Intersect Discord is very confusing. There's like so many different channels. I had no idea where to start, and I think part of that's just I'm a new member and just have to work through it. I think part of the reason I wanted to come to the town hall today was try and organize it, and I think it makes sense. You have the special interest groups and the breakout groups and all that stuff, so it makes sense the way that it's sort of structured that way. But in terms of like organizing, because I understand the D reps and Intersect, they're different. They're like basically different bodies. But I do think that there needs to be some sort of cross communication. Like I kind of see it like the way that the United States works. You have the executive branch, the judicial branch, and the legislative. They all are independent, but they all have some sort of like interconnectedness. So in terms of the town hall, I guess it's just a little bit more like clarity around like, okay, what does the web look like? Like what is the organization? How is it structured? I think there just needs to be more emphasis on that. Because I come into the town hall, and to keep this town hall related, it's like, okay, here's one speaker talking about this, and then another speaker talking about this, and then another speaker talking about this, and another speaker talking about this. And then it's like, then it kind of feels like the Discord again, where it's like there's just 50 channels and I have no idea where to start or where to go or where to ask questions or where to do anything. So yeah, that map looks like pretty helpful. But that's all I had to say. Thank you.
So if I may jump in here for a moment, I've got a few responses just to those two directly here. So one is that we are well aware of the state of the Discord currently, and we are actively working on a resolution. We do expect to have one by the time that we begin having or complete having all of our AMM meetings, is what I've understood. Aside from that, and this is not to put a responsibility on anybody in particular, but I myself, as well as a few others of Intersect, I feel have made ourselves pretty available as far as being there and present in multiple channels throughout the Discord. So at any time, I don't think there's an issue with saying our DMs are always open. So please always feel free to provide that feedback. And that leads into the other side of things. I would definitely want to say on behalf of Intersect, I don't think that we want the only feedback for Intersect or the town hall specifically to only have to come through the town halls themselves. We encourage all of our communication channels to be open for any level of feedback that you have, because there are a number of us, or really any of us, can get that feedback to the right place and even get you a direct response as needed. So you're always welcome to leave that feedback anonymously or directly reach to one of us so that we can provide a direct answer back to you. So just two pieces.
Thank you.
Yeah, Daniel, you actually put quite a good, because the first time I also joined, I shared in the chat that it was unclear the ecosystem and who to reach out. And this actually, I would say, was this month's biggest theme. Where we initially started like, okay, we have now this Discord channel, we got it set up in first month. Second month, we got like, okay, we need to start outreaching ourselves, pulling information. And this month we got more feedback from Intersect staff team. Probably they aggregated some feedback, and that our communication lines are totally like broken. There isn't key people. And even this town hall, even there you see it, a lot of content was appeared. I sent out different emails to different committee members and committee, like the public channels, all the Discord channels, and none of the feedback actually or the content came from these channels, and everything was directed to Intersect staff members. And this is like another thing where those who have been here already and who are running the town halls kind of take the space, and people are used to sending stuff to them. So even if I get email, say I sent to that member the slides, I never actually got direct slides. And today I saw first time like contribution back and forth where it was in Discord and text was also active at the same time. So the information was flowing just today. But when we started this whole thing was the 1st of August, when the first agenda structure was shared, and what we were expecting, slides were already introduced last month. So I guess this is also a thing that takes time to kind of know where is the truth of information. And something that was mentioned in the community problem board, another person mentioned about that we need a single truth or somewhere to go. And right now it's again unclear where it's it. When I joined, I assumed Discord is end or be all because that was the main communication I get. I don't use Twitter on any of these other socials. So that's also maybe a downside from me. Maybe like there is a Twitter channels or something I have to be up to date and use that to get information. Or maybe direct people. For example, I wasn't sending any news to Lloyd, but to the committee. So maybe also you are not looking at the emails there, and this information is trickling down, but it maybe trickles to agenda, but the agenda gets postponed to the next meeting. You have so much stuff to do, so it kind of always gets like, I don't know, somewhere else.
Yeah.
But what
Exactly.
I would imagine
That's interesting.
Yeah. Okay.
Thibaut, that is very interesting, and because I want to honor what you were saying there. One of the things is that one of the things that I know from the committee level, what a lot of us are trying to do is get the Git books updated regularly. That's kind of like the drive right now. And so there is a push of information happening that way. All the committees that I know of, everybody that's on a committee that I know of is working on that direction. So a lot of push is happening to where we're getting the information, we're putting it out there, and we're publishing it so that it's available for everybody to see. And then I think the next step is going to be it's going to be who's responsible for collating that and getting it to the town hall, right? Is it something that Swarm does, or is it something that we do and then bring to you guys? And I got to step away, guys, real quick.
Yeah, but I can answer that because in the proposal, there wasn't really a space where we have to gather and aggregate and like format the content. And we didn't propose that also. So there is also this maybe a misalignment and understanding of expectations on that.
The joy of decentralized organizations, right? We're everybody has different expectations until we align on them. So, but that's good to know. That's why I really did like I know a lot of information has been collated, a lot of it's being put out, and it just maybe isn't in the format that you guys had that was useful yet. But again, this idea of us gathering at the town hall and being given a space to share the information that we're already collating, that's pretty cool too. And you know, for me, I've gone ahead and signed up and subscribed to be in the town hall for the next several months. The rest of the ones that were available, to be here, so that we can do that every time. Just a commitment to be a part of that. So, and I know I'm not the only one. So that's it's just kind of cool that we're finding a ground where it's going to be fertile, where we're going to work together.
Yeah, if it came across as a criticism, that definitely wasn't my intention. I also think that Discord is the best place to have the organization of members-based organization. And the only reason that I wanted to share what I shared was because if the objective of a decentralized governance is to have absolutely as many voices as possible, the barrier to entry to understanding how to get your voice heard, if that's enormous, people are going to join the Intersect Discord and be like, there's 100 pages in here. What the heck? I'm out. And to be honest, that was me. Like I joined the Discord maybe a month or two ago, and didn't even know how to become a member, didn't know anything. I'm out. Like, I'll just go to the DREP workshop. Let's see what happens there. And so in no way was it meant to be a criticism. I think Discord definitely is the best place to do it. And I think we're so early, it's still figuring itself out. So again, just in no way did I mean that as a criticism. Just new guy here, want to share the experience I had. That's it. Thank you.
It's a super valid concern because it's the bane of my life and I have to use it every day. So I don't think you'll find anyone who will disagree with you at all on that. It is something that we are continually discussing and continually discussing what it should look like and how we can make it better. So these sorts of comments and input is super useful. Yeah, it's yeah. I mean, I think Discord as a tool it's a great tool, but it can be a runaway train really quick. So yes, we are reevaluating what that looks like.
Yeah, I'd just like to re-echo what you just said there. And the barriers to information is like, it's something that always comes back and back and back. And it's usually like the flood of information that comes down from Telegram or from Discord or whatever. And what really is needed that's where town halls can help. And also, there's a kind of struggle with the town hall because you don't want the town hall to be talking to people, dictating to people, and you want but it needs to be like concise. The platform where you go to find out your first bits of information. How do I get involved? What is Intersect? That kind of thing. That can seem repetitive to people who come along, but that needs to be there essentially every week or every month. Sorry. And then also there needs to be tangible proof at the town hall, the Intersect Town Hall, that here are community members who are involved, who are running it or presenting content. And it's not just Intersect staff. Intersect staff are, if you like, providing essential updates, really. So I think your concerns are completely valid. Then they're constantly a struggle. So yeah, I'd agree with that.
Nico, Nicodemus, you have a hand up.
Yeah, thank you, Tevo. I appreciate you calling on me, and I've been learning a lot from this town hall here. I have a question. Do we have or are we collecting user feedback in so much as like the onboarding obstacles or challenges that new users may face? Is there a repository floating around somewhere where they have access to that info?
That's a great question. So I think it depends on the onboarding issue. So if it's going through signing up on the website, there is like a feedback tab in the bottom right corner of the screen. So if there's any bugs or issues with the sign up process, there is an actual process to be able to fill out a form from that tab, and we do collect that data. Otherwise, if there's any other issues that you have, you can always report them to membership at intersectmbo.org for sure. And so we do collect that information.
Okay, is that the best place? And this not necessarily to like email complaints or issues, but just like if individuals find it, maybe they have feedback on the organization of the Discord or have ideas or what have you. Would that be the best resource to use?
I would say so currently, yes. That does get collated, all of that information. And if it's related to an issue around sign up for something technical, it certainly goes into a ticket, a technical ticket, which gets fixed by the web team. So yes, we do collate that. The more feedback we get, the better, because as I mentioned earlier, we only exist as a team of people working at Intersect to serve the community. So if the community aren't happy and the community aren't getting what they need, we're kind of redundant. So the more feedback we get, the better, and the better we can make Intersect for you, the community and the membership base.
Great, thank you. And what was that email again? One more time, sir.
It's membership at intersectmbo.org.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
No problem.
Nadia, you had your hand up.
Yeah. I guess I'm mostly just kind of used to more development kind of atmosphere, so I'm not sure exactly how I fit into anything, but I guess most of the other people I see hacking on at least the Haskell stuff, are hanging out in like functional programming language things. Like there's a functional programming Discord and also a
would it be a Discord server or a channel in Intersect?
Discord server, yeah.
Okay, anyway. Maybe you can share a link to the
sure.
chat, and then we can aggregate it and share it.
Yeah, I'll give the invite momentarily.
Yeah, and I also shared myself a GitHub problem board. So if there are some problems we want, we will try to define them. Sometimes we also start to reaching out to other members. But the more I'm in here and doing town halls, the more I actually also know other work groups. So it will be easier for me also to aggregate that information. But yeah, no, you can go on.
Yeah, that's another thingy where I guess because we can, well, if it's open source, we can just kind of look at the code and say, well, we ran into this bug or want to change it to do some way or other. We can just code it ourselves. A lot of times we just kind of like send stuff up to maintainers of Git repositories, and we'll post on the post issues or make forks and do pull requests and so on for their projects, and that's kind of another way we interact. And there's a matrix, I think, for Cabal. Let me see. I'll get that one too. Hang on. And there's IRC floating around too somewhere. Let me see how I.
Just wondering, how would that be related to the Intersect? Is that an example how to run a community and your example, or is it because of the Haskell and the language open source relations, like in a wider term?
Yeah, it's partly because of language, and also the various other IOI/Intersect employees are also on those channels as well, so not just me. So yeah.
So I'm happy to step up as a point of contact here for you. In the methods, well, there's a couple of different ways that you could go about this, right? First of which would be your membership of Intersect, whether through, let's say, an enterprise level or as a founding member. The second piece of that would be once you are in the Intersect Discord, we have our developer experience working group, which is actually being supported by our developer advocates. That would definitely be a perfect place to work on the, let's say, the learning efforts or the education efforts with regards to Haskell. When it comes to something that's technical, let's say for those that know what they're doing, but they're just having issues with the programming, there would also be the opportunity for them to get with not only the Intersect, but also the IOI team, specifically the maintainers on core Cardano, to better understand those issues.
Yeah, maybe Tex, you could also share your socials to the Nadia. But bringing back to this Town Hall, what's wrong with Town Hall topic? I'm actually a visual person, so I would like to share a bit of my report and kind of give you an overview of what is the framework, and which was like one of the issues about Town Halls. Am I showing the correct screen? Yes, I am. So in general, to understand, I have windows here, which are yellow framed, which are basically meetings. We have 2 open public meetings every month, where we basically, the first week usually is about retrospective, about this town hall. Right now, we're kind of doing it already in this after town hall. And we use that to kind of change the framework agenda and the way who we invite, how do we invite, and all this kind of technical stuff. And on the second week, we usually also look into the problem boards. In both sessions, we also go through agenda items so that we already quite early have like the framework ready. Who are we going to invite? Which updates there are going to be? Who is going to present? Because the earliest we think we can do this, the better it will be to attract the audience to know what's going to happen in Town Hall and what to expect there. And in future, it will be like looking like 2 weeks before Town Hall. You already know what's after Town Halls, who are being invited. because we see the vision, at least in Intersect and in Cardano. I see so many people. So having like a 300, 400 people down halls should be a feasible thing. But right now to get there is a bit of a struggle and takes a bit of time on training. Of course, and then we have a stand-up call where we kind of aggregate that information and put it into documentation. So we always have a town hall document. So everything is open source, and a lot of this is shared. So if you are a digger, you will find out all about tribes, all the emails, not emails per se, but some general information, what we share. And yeah, and then now, as you can see on the bottom here, there are all the relevant links, which lead to different resources we have. And what's coming next month is probably more work on the framework itself, like putting into one page. Right now, it's kind of aggregated into different things. We have GitHub, where we assess the assignments, tasks, but we try to do it as open source and using GitHub, because most of other workshops are also using that and kind of show with the team and also the schedule what's happening. So this August, we have a slightly different. There is much more private session with the Intersect staff team themselves. But going forward in future, I hope we can address most of the stuff in the public calls, similar to this one, and then have a few closing sessions just to kind of have a final review on the slide and everything. Today, we basically did that all in like the last minute. But probably it's always going to be a bit of last minute, but the more we can do beforehand, the better it would be. All that. So I just kind of wanted to share it. Visually is what's happening. And if you're interested to shape the Intersect Town Halls, then please join us to the public work groups or in the channel. I always be looking there. You don't have to ping me. I will read every message. Yes, thanks.
Nice.
Yeah, I'll jump in real quick. I just I thought I heard you say something about agendas being created either during or just after the town hall. And so I might suggest that you have some form of link that allows people to suggest agenda items for the town hall. But I don't see where we'd be able to, whether by the community or Intersect, immediately create an agenda item, whether realistic or even provisional, immediately after the current town hall.
Yeah,
I think that's something that definitely takes some time to develop.
Yeah, of course. Like the first week usually is a retrospective and just looking over the general framework. Are we going to have a synopsis? Are we going to introduce the town hall again? Are we going to have committee members? Like this basic stuff. Usually we probably in the next month or in 2 months, we don't actually even go through this because we're going to get the framework itself more stabilized. But at the early stages, there was always kind of constant changes. Oh, we forgot about grant programs. Do they want to share anything, their updates? There is in the GitHub, there is a list of them. Some of them share updates, some of them don't. And like these kinds of ideas, what should be in these lots, which we just had, are discussed also in the work groups. And they are happening in first week, second week, and the rest of them are usually then asynchronous, with the exceptions this month where Intersect staff wanted to kind of be on top of everything and through live meetings. I hope I kind of clarified it. It's not like like right after this meeting, we don't have to choose agendas, but just to be aware that there is a structure, there is a plan. Yes, Tanya?
Just to re-echo what I wrote down in chat, I definitely agree with what Scott Dorsey said, that if we have like introductory meetings for new members, just to kind of help them orient themselves, like that might solve most of the problems. Just like, all right, there's a bunch of channels in the Discord, here's the different sections. And then it's also like just a quick introduction for new members to give feedback or new members to give ideas for how Intersect should be run. And then I was kind of joking, I hate to suggest yet another committee, but if there's like a committee dedicated towards onboarding new members or even people who are new in the community, I think that'd be great. Even if it's just, it doesn't even have to be meetings, especially to start. It can just like, here's a 15-minute video of understanding Intersect and how it's organized in the Discord and where you should start or whatever. For new members or new people who join the Discord, even if they're not members, just I wanted to put that into voice rather than just chat. So thank you.
And the second, that in a sense that in Singularity Network, there is an onboarding workgroup, and that has been super effective, that there's a dedicated team who is thinking about how to onboard and creates new processes and different material to onboard. But right now, I guess the Discord one is hard because every week I see changes there. And so probably it may need some time before it kind of solidifies. But yeah, I'm not...
Yeah, you're right, Tivo. You're definitely right. And actually, it's my area of responsibility, onboarding. So, and we know we've been quite remiss with that. We are currently working on trying to build some training videos, which will be available in the members area when people join, as a bit of an intro to what Intersect is, a bit of an intro on how to get involved, and some signposting to committees, working groups, and special interest groups. We haven't done one on Discord, but it has been muted. So again, feedback is really, really important for us. And that onboarding area is something that is definitely lacking, that we need to spend some more effort and energy on for sure.
I'm wondering what will be the next elegant steps for town halls? What is going to change from next month? Because from my perspective, to me, I'm not really changing that much. There are going to be public calls, but we have discussed that there is going to be, of course, one extra meeting of the review team. So after Swarm team looks over the stuff and aggregates all the slides together, all the agenda docs, there will be meeting with the Intersect staff team to also look over it and see where are gaps and how can they support. Other than that, what would be the next steps, what we can do and what you can do from your side? Who's worrying?
More proactive communication about the presence of the Town Hall Working Group, which happens multiple times a month, and more proactive announcements about the Town Hall Monthly, I think would be impactful in terms of gaining engagement in the process that informs the Town Hall content, as well as engagement in the actual session that we did today. I had another comment about saying more about the ATH, but I'll just leave that for readers of the chat. Hi, Gemma.
Hello. Thanks, Randall. I agree with that. And as a step forward, what we have suggested is that in our Intersect development weekly updates, we could include the links to the different planning sessions or the town halls, so that people have that other area of information that they can go to and join the relevant meetings.
Nice. Thanks.
On that, there's a slight feedback from Swarm members. When the newsletter was sent out, one link was missing and some sentences was changed grammatically incorrectly. So there is somebody who's changing them after the copy pasting it. And another thing, which about this town hall announcement itself and after town hall, and Intersect Twitter doesn't retweet it, say that it was incorrectly formatted, but I shared it 2 weeks ago and asked feedback twice, is it okay? Is there any objections? And that's why I kind of went with what we had written before and shared it on the announcement channels we have collected. And this is also something maybe we should share with you, because it's an Excel sheet. There is all the lists and where I send it. And maybe that is something that could be updated and I can do more from my side. And the third part on that, could a swarm member or me get access to tag people, because this is another thing which kind of we tried last month, that hey, we were supposed to send every channel an update about the town halls, because so to get people's attention, but it would be much easier and less kind of messy and spammy if I would have actually able to tag everybody and then focus everybody to this specific channel instead of copy pasting the same message to all the channels. Because right now, when I analyzed it, I would have multiple messages from me and no other discussion. And that is also not a nice look when people join a Discord and they see one person sharing announcements and directing to other channel. Yeah.
I imagine we are happy to have this out here from a transparency perspective, although I would suggest that those particular points be held in a comms conversation between Swarm and Intersect so we can work out those details.
Yeah, I agree.
I think those are perfect pieces of material for a channel that's about the town halls. Maybe that's a slightly different take on what you said, Tex.
Absolutely, yeah. So the details in the background, but as far as the community support adding to that initiative, definitely an open forum where the community can comment on how they view that communication working. Absolutely.
I just think it's good to move it away from Discord as well. Discord, we've discussed, it's a complicated space. So I think having alternative places where you can reach the information about the town halls is super valuable.
I concur there. Yeah, probably I'm not a huge Discord fan, but to say that I don't use it at all. It's, to me, I just find it too complicated. I'm still maybe a little bit old school. I like the websites, the emails, and face-to-face time.
Yeah, I'm not a Discord fan, I must say.
Yeah.
It's such an interesting product insight, tangentially.
Just wondering.
Listen, it is a difference. So that's actually one of the things I wanted to get out of this. So like don't come from a programming background, got a technical background understanding. I'm more of probably a value scraper business side. Wanting to get involved as potentially as a DREP and all that, but the impression is from the outside is that if I'm not technically sound, there's not really a space for me at this stage. But I don't know if that's the case, because when I read about it, they're saying they want more input from others.
Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say that that's not the case. I am not hugely technical at all. And I think there's lots of places in Intersect, depending on your particular area of interest in terms of either working groups or committees, that there's a huge amount of conversation that isn't just technical. So a prime example is the membership and community committee. So they actually, the MCC, discuss things around membership, what that should look like, grants, grant funding, and all of that discussion around how that runs and how that should work for the community is done by the community in that forum. So there's nothing technical whatsoever about that. Obviously, you've got the civics committee. There's lots of different committees that are non-technical, I would say. And actually, some of them are purely non-technical, and some of them are probably gateway areas into technical. So again, I think that's down to us to better define our signposting when people join as to what's your areas of interest. Are they technical? Are they non-technical? Are they governance? And we can then possibly do something to steer people to the areas that might be of key interest to them.
Yeah.
So to suggest something super fast, the easiest way to do that is roles. So you assign roles. So basically you have in the Discord, come get your roles. And then every single role has its own little blurb. It's like, okay, if you want access to the subcommittees, get this role and you'll get access. If you want access to whatever town hall meetings, click this role. And so the Discord one, because the biggest thing is it's so overwhelming when it gets in. I think it's necessary that you have all these channels. I wasn't also trying to say you should get rid of channels. But I think when you're first coming in, it's like, all right, you have a general chat that just everyone accesses and new people can see, and then you maybe have an announce like no more than 10 different channels, because even at 10 it's still a lot. And then so if that was what I was just going to say is you opt into these different roles, and then you can also I agree that a lot of people don't like Discord, but I think a lot of the crypto communities in Discord, so I think Discord's necessary, but I think eventually also having a website where it's a similar sort of format so you can go either way. Anyways, so opt-in roles might be the best way to do that. So just wanted to say that.
I think the roles have to be general, because there was a feedback. This was discussed, I think, in first Town Hall work group, and that was mentioned that we have so many groups and roles basically that it's unfeasible to do that. But having like an area of just committees, because we don't have that many committees, so that might work. But not going like details that, hey, do we want to be Seek? Or like, else you have as many roles as you have channels. So there is that caveat, like not overkilling with roles, but being like more general. Technical, you get unlocked these committees.
So I definitely, yeah. So I didn't mean a role for every single channel, but definitely for like the different categories. So you have 4 channels under product community. You have 2 channels under parameters community. You have 20 channels under technical steering community. And I don't know what any of these things are. So you can have a role for basically that entire category of those channels. So basically you just have a quick paragraph. What is the technical steering community? And then if you want to opt into the technical steering community, you click that role and then you see the 20 channels pop up. And you're like, oh, never mind. or what that's, so I didn't mean a specific channel by channel, but from like each different category, maybe.
Yeah, there's something there, like a top line, just a top line differentiator. Essentially, there's two things you're trying to solve here. One side is newbie coming in, where do I start? And then advanced, how do you actually consistently participate?
Yeah, the question in chat, should Intersect Town Hall be placed to onboard? For example, again, from in SingularityNet, usually it is where all the new people are coming, and like, hey, this is the first thing where you can learn about everything. And in Intersect, you can see that it seems to be we're always going to have a lot of work group authors, committers. So you're going to learn a bit of what everybody's doing. So that's one part of onboarding. But maybe that's also an early section could be about, hey, this is a Discord. This is how it's structured. Here you can see roles. These are general roles. Here is a knowledge base. Here, what is like, I wonder if that is something we want to bring, or should Intersect Town Hall be more like a business front where you share, okay, this is a video for all the town halls. So if you're not about reading the newsletters or the Twitters or other updates, this is where you can get the information. So where are expectations here about Town Hall? Should it encompass a lot of things, or it should be more like a marketing front for video creation?
So I would say for now, let's take it from like a business perspective. Right now, arguably the most important thing for Intersect right now is onboarding, because we're only a couple months into this. And so over the next couple of years, thousands, tens of thousands, potentially hundreds of thousands of people are going to be joining Intersect. And so the number one on-ramp needs to be like, this is how we do this. I think that if you do an onboarding section as part of the town hall, where at the end of the town hall meeting, I like the idea of, I forget who suggested it, that basically right after the town hall, you just go right into this. But I think something that you could do is maybe you have the town hall, this breakout group as one of the options, but then onboarding as a separate one. So then you break out into these 2 different things where you have onboarding. But I also think that for some people, town halls might be a bit intimidating to start. I think maybe you should even just have separate dedicated meetings for new members. Come join here, get, quick information on everything like that. And if that's like, part of when you first join the Discord, there's only 5 to 10 channels. And one of the channels is new member information or start here or something like that. And the biggest announcement there that's pinned is, or the only text that's there is, here are the schedule for new member video, new member, things like that. And then it's like
introduction, briefing, whatever. And then that's a separate meeting. And to be honest, every little community can run their own in their own time zone and a set period, once a week, once every 2 weeks. People sign up, they join. If they're there, they're there. If they're not, you have a good conversation with whoever is there. The big thing is about building community, and this FaceTime is important. I mean, I must say that yeah, I'm learning from this, which is what was my objective, and now I'm encouraged to come back again, which is useful. And if that can happen to multiple people, if you, Daniel, and I both come back, this has been a successful town hall.
I agree. And so one last quick thing, sorry, I know I'm talking a lot, is somebody mentioned that they didn't even fill, I don't remember which committee it was, but they didn't even fill all the seats in the committee. It's like right now, we're still so early. There's only like 2,000 people, and I don't know the number, but 3,000 people that were interested. Like, we're getting too niche down already, and there's like not even enough people to fill all these separate niches. Like, the meat and potatoes is where all the focus should be right now. And then as more people come in, it's like, okay, redirect. And so if all the focus is here, and then you build the easy pathways from that point, those committees will get filled faster because there's more of an organizing central body that, and I hate to say it like that, because then we get into the idea of centralization, which we all are obviously opposed to as a general principle. But yeah, I think that's what we need to focus on, is the meat and potatoes for right now.
Does anyone mind if I make a suggestion? And that's if people are amenable to it. I think this session has been phenomenally useful, certainly for me, and I think also for the likes of Gemma and Tex and those of us who actually work day to day in Intersect. If you guys are amenable, do you mind if can I put in a session to actually have a discussion specifically on this and onboarding and signposting with you guys and collect that input? Because one of the things that we've done is Intersect has been spun up in a hurry as a startup organization. So we've been running really hard and fast this year. What we probably haven't had enough time to do from certainly an onboarding perspective is sit down with people who are members, who have gone through that experience, who have joined, who have got on Discord, and to capture all of that feedback almost in a focus group. And a lot of what's been said here today has been really, really useful for me, for sure. Echoes some of my own thoughts. There's lots of things that I haven't thought of before. And I'd kind of like to run a focus group session with you guys, if that's possible, capture a lot of this, and then actually build out a strategy from that we run through the MCC, who have to then approve it, and that it's fit for members, which then drives change.
I'm open to that for sure. The start time for this is the earliest that I can meet personally, just so you know.
Sure, no, that's fine. But I mean, I'll send something out. I'll send out an email probably next week, and try and find out what people's time zones look like. Maybe we break into smaller groups and capture that in 2s and 3s rather than one big group. I don't mind. But some of the things that, I mean, I've been frantically writing for the last half an hour, lots of notes and who said certain things, that I'm keen to make sure I capture. And actually, it just occurs to me that it's just better to have a focus group and record those sessions, format up all that content, play it back to people, and then we go and take it to the MCC and say, we've built a strategy out of our feedback from our community and from our members to make things better, sharper, more efficient, slicker, and we get approval to implement that.
Something that Pantelis pointed out, like time zone stuff. In the last governance tooling workgroup, there was a question or like a statement. I will join Intersect Town Hall if that would happen earlier in this morning because they are from America. I wonder if that would be something feasible and doable, that we have alternative time zones for Intersect Town Hall itself. Or should that be more like an extra community call to do that?
It's up to our community. You guys decide.
Okay. Let's see what can we do next month. It's not going to happen straight away, but yeah, we'll probably kick off a new scheduling option. But there is a danger, like maybe the committee members don't share their available time zones, and then we just there is a decision, because the only people who share their time zone say, okay, the morning time is interesting, well, let's try that. And then we have that morning time. None of the committee members are joining. Like that's another danger. How do we get that? You're mentioning, like right now, when you said that, hey, let's gather this information and share it to committee. Where would Intersect Town Hall have that decision-making body, or somebody who could help coordinate this thing? Would we have to go to all the committees, or would we go to Intersect staff, or how do we coordinate it? Because if we do it within the community, we decide within the community, but then comes Intersect staff says, no, we do it this way. And then all the work is kind of lost.
I've got an opinion on this. Don't know how valid it is, but kind of my expectation for a decentralized organization is that you do have more committed people who will create a lot of content that gets shared out to more also committed people who might have less time available, volunteer-based in different time zones. So I could, for example, host a meetup or a gathering in Bali. But if there's the content's being created, I could just share what's already being created and host, and then and get the move, take people through the motions. If there's any technical questions that I can't answer, I can direct them accordingly. And so as you start getting the same theme of questions, you develop the toolkit, I'll call it, for example, or the presentation, or whatever you want. And then you trust in your participating members to share that. And there is some risk to that, obviously, but the reality is, if somebody messes it up, then you just don't invite them to host that meeting again. So it's self-managed. It doesn't have to all fall on you guys. That's the whole point of this, that this does become decentralized.
Yeah, and that's what we also try to do.
Yeah, so I mean, that's kind of what I'm getting from this. I'm going to learn, cool, excellent. Then I know where to find the toolkit. Cool, already now when I start speaking to people on this side, I'm empowered and I could share the information.
All right. If anybody else has something to share, we have Scott Dorsey here, and then Gemma, who didn't speak that much on that, or Nadia, do you have anything to share about what's wrong with Town Hall or what's not wrong with Town Hall, so that we can use our best practices going forward?
My main feedback was communication, which I think has been picked up on this call. I think it was the outreach to the community, and we felt that in previous town halls that hadn't been done so much, and the content therefore wasn't as good. I think this town hall has been a huge success. I think you've done really well. It's been really nice to hear everybody's thoughts and opinions, and to get a better engagement from the community overall. And I hope that it continues this way, because as I say, I think it's been really good. I do have to leave now as well, but thank you everybody for contributing and your time.
You were shining.
Yeah, cheers guys, thank you all.
As an aside, I guess the concept of the community might be something different from, or maybe like less focused on like the, I guess, like development and like open source Haskell programmers and so on, then I might be thinking. Is that right, or?
Well, there are a lot of topics. Right now, as you can see, there are no other developer after Town Halls, but this is something we would hope to. So if you want to share your open source community, signing up for an after Town Hall would be a perfect place, because then alternative to this call, there will be this whatever focus you want to share about your group or how it's related to. And then if it's done beforehand, we can already also like outreach, market it out that, hey, there is Nadia who is sharing this community. They are doing open source development. It's in Haskell. Maybe there's a connection point. Also, if you're already going to coordinate with text, it's from open source community, there is already some kind of connection. So you might get people from that committee themselves or other work groups that joined this work group. So
yeah, I don't know. I just program. I don't know how to organize any of this stuff or anything like that. But I can tell you where the things are. I think I gave links to the different places, right? So
yeah, in the there will be Town Hall summary, which have all the links, and then you will also find the After Town Hall link, and then you can share it to the relevant people in your community who are maybe more those who are like to coordinate and kind of plan ahead who should meet and where should meet, and then the developers can come together and share their challenges, because there is a plenty of challenges in Bluetooth, which is also written in Haskell, and I think we might find ways to interact in your own language, not just English.
oh, sure, yeah. So yeah, apart from that, I don't have any kind of real direct way to give like a whole lot of content. But yeah, I guess it's you're probably thinking more of like people who are maybe like doing some kind of business thing or like
this is up to the person who is creating the After Town Halls to choose the topic. So if you want to share a specific function or lambda thing or something, that's also an opportunity. Or teach your best practices you are doing in your language.
I'm not proposing anything. I'm trying to understand the discussion I just heard.
Okay, I was just suggesting like different, like how After Town Hall works. So there can be different topics basically. So that suit more to your interests. Okay, cool. Thanks for joining for today. Oh, Scott, you are muted.
Okay. Pretty much I just wanted to say if you guys are thinking about putting together a new member group or meeting or whatever, I would be interested in participating in that and trying to get that put together.
You are speaking of the onboarding work group that Nick mentioned?
Yes.
All right. I will keep that in mind and put that into the After Town Hall summary and hand it over to Nick so he can contact me. He said he will share emails. So maybe you can privately share me the email so I can coordinate that to him.
Okay.
In case you're not the Intersect MBO staff member, then you, of course, it's not necessary.
Real quick, Tivo, what's your user in case I have to tag you in comment, or if because there was something else I wanted to say and I forgot what it was.
In Discord, I am Tevo, same as you can see in the Zoom chat. If you prefer email, you type it out. And the email is also something I look at. Or if you don't have anything specific to tell to me, or you want me to be aware, the Intersect Town Hall's channel is something I will look almost every day.
Thank you.
Even if nobody pings me there. Okay, cool. For joining. And stop recording.